Hello, my name is William James. Welcome to this episode of The Bald Book Geek. It's my autumn reads. I've been doing this for a long time, and I always kind of go into my autumn reads with... It's more a recommendation list than anything, and I hope you guys like it, because I've been doing this, and it's taken me a long time to pick out this list for you. These are books that I think just fit the autumn season, and I think they fit this time of year. So let's start at the very beginning and work our way down. This is a mix of genres, so I've intentionally gone down that route of it. So different moods, different things, and this kind of sets the mood for this season. So let's start. The Grace Keeper. This is a phenomenal fantasy novel set within a flooded world about a woman who's a gracekeeper and a girl in a floating circus and her bear. I mean, how gorgeous is this cover, by the way? It's pretty. It's very pretty. It's a lovely story. It's kind of a dystopian fantasy in a way. It has that element and that vibe of this very controlled world, and their story intertwining the gracekeepers and the seagulls and this kind of whole kind of ruined world, what's happened thing. It's a beautiful book. Absolutely beautiful, and I've read it cover to cover more times than I can count, so definitely one to read, definitely one to enjoy, I think. Melmoth by Sarah Perry. This one's an interesting book. So Melmoth is a creature that's been stalking through time. Melmoth, this is a gothic horror. This is Halloween reading. This is expertly creepy. It's beautiful. This is a signed edition from Waterstones. I adore Sarah Perry. She is a phenomenal writer, and she's just got better and better. This is just a gorgeous little gothic horror novel that really pulls you in, and pulls you into the point where it keeps you reading, it keeps you creeped out, it keeps you on the edge of your seat. You genuinely can't put this one down. Melmoth stalks this creature as Melmoth, and it, for want of a better word, this will get under your skin. This gave me nightmares. This is gothic horror in the true aspect of gothic horror, and it's so good. So do check out Melmoth by Sarah Perry. The Familiars. I've talked about this book many times. Nothing beats a bit of magical realism and some witches. There's going to be quite a bit of that in this video. So, yes. The Familiars is a story of witches within this world. It's kind of, these two women become inseparable. Their story together is fascinating, and that's what the story is. It's the story of these two women. The witches, and the magical realism behind it comes from a different place, and it's more focused on these very interesting women and the side characters and their sort of ingoings and outgoings, and the chaos behind them is so well done, and one of my favourites. It really is. The Binding by Bridget Collins. I got to meet her at the Derby Book Festival. She is a fascinating woman. And this is magical realism again. It takes place in an alternate 19th century, where bookbinders can put your memories into a book. He goes to apprentice with one of the bookbinders, and he finds a book with his name on it. This is, jokingly, it got referred to as a kissing book. It's such a charming, sweet story. She wrote teen books before this, but this was her first adult novel. This is a stunning book. There is no way around it. This is a stunning book, and one that I think you're going to enjoy. Do check out The Binding. I loved it. I found it by accident. Someone told me how good it was, and I bought a copy, and there we go, my signature. And so also the hardback is rather pretty. I want to say this. So yes, actually the paperback of this is just as equally gorgeous. So yes, The Binding by Bridget Collins. Practical Magic by Alice Hoffman. Now this one's interesting because although this book is themed around summer, where the film is themed around autumn, I talked about that in another video. Just go to the little thingy and you will find, type in Practical Magic, you'll find a couple of videos. I adore this book. I just do. I love the world that she's created. There's two other books. There's two prequels to this. Magic Lessons, which is coming out, which I'm currently reading, and another one. And I adore her writing. The magic is just part of this world. And again, it's a relationship story. It's a story of these women, this family, that's kind of come through the other side and gone through hell. So it's one of them, basically. It's a phenomenal read. And the book and the film, although similar and use the same plot, are fundamentally different, but I like them both for different reasons. So, Practical Magic by Alice Huffman. So, I always recommend these two together because it's a better way of doing it, I think. To Kill a Mockingbird and Go Set a Watchman by Harper Lee. This is where we get more interesting. This is the finished book. Go Set a Watchman is the first draft. So I don't know how to explain that. So this was the book she first wrote. Her publisher liked it but thought, okay, we prefer the kid's story, so she wrote the kid's story more in depth. Don't think of this as a sequel, think of it as a companion piece. Absolutely phenomenal. Books we are still learning lessons from today, and the story of these characters. I mean, Vintage always do beautiful editions, don't they? We're still learning these stories. We're still learning from this, and we still haven't quite got there yet. It's a shame. And this book is controversial, which I always find ridiculous. Maybe people don't like the past reflected back at them. This book is stunning. Go read Go Set a Watchman as a companion book rather than as a sequel, and you can see the evolution. So, tell me what you think in the comments below.